Why did the cucumber blush? Because it saw the salad dressing. Okay, so the name of my speech is, "Hey kiddo, you want breakfast?" And when I wrote this in my head, it went more like, "Hey baby, you hungry? You want breakfast?" So as the principal of an elementary school here in the city, I would often stand at the door with my coffee, and they'd say yes, and they nod their big old heads and wipe their eye boogers from their eyes, and we'd keep breakfast on the hot bar for them. And so my mom, who's here today, she was the supervisor of the free and reduced lunch program for all of Memphis City schools. So food and nutrition was a big part of my life growing up. And so she would tell me all the time, people would call in and say, "Miss Jones, what you mean my kid can't eat free?" And she'd have those conversations all the time, so much so to where the entire school district went to feeding everybody for free, no matter what their parents' income was. So way to go for that. And what that meant for the children in our community is that now schools were actually incentivized to feed children more and more. So at the school that I was the principal at, we fed children 5 meals a day: breakfast, lunch, supper, fresh fruit and vegetable program, as well as an afternoon snack. And so when you serve supper in the afternoon for students, anybody who's under the age of 18, they can walk off the street into your school and say, "I'm hungry," and you are obligated to feed them. Oh, wow. Yes. And so what that also meant was you look up and you say, "Okay, here they come again, the whole family." But you know what? It was good because we're helping cash-strapped parents to feed their children. So look at this. How many of you seen U.S. lunches compared to food around the world? Yep. I mean, I want that one from Italy. So the HuffPost says that the lunches in the U.S. are so bad that the kids here are going to now run to study abroad to get away from the bad school lunches, right? So I want you to stop and I want you to look at this. School pizza, corn, vitamin-rich milk, and you might think it's disgusting, and the kids would joke on each other all the time, "Ooh, I'm not going to eat that." And then they have a mouthful of it like, "I ain't going to eat that, girl," and they be eating it right along next with the person with them. So the Division of Nutrition Services has an entire team of dietitians and people putting together menu options to make sure that they hit all of those components for our children in our schools. And so how did you feel looking at that lunch? Were you repulsed? Did it bring back memories of those sad pizza squares? memories, right? And maybe you want to do something about it, right? Well, Michelle Obama tried, and her husband was the president, and it would literally take an act of Congress to change school lunches for all of our students in the schools across America. And even now, her efforts are being rolled back by our current administration, which is very unfortunate. But you do have people in our community who are doing great things. And the Big Green team here, they have planted 100 learning gardens across the city, impacting 50,000 kids, right? So kids are now getting the opportunity to learn about where their food comes from. And so if you're thinking about, what is it that I can do to help? While you might not be Michelle Obama, you still can use your talents and your skills to help our children. And even though that lunch might not have brought back good and warm feelings to you, those lunches help fill the bellies of some of the poorest children in our city. So here's my call to action. As a principal, if you as a parent come to me and you say, "Hey, Ms. Jones, I have something that I want to do for the school. I have a grant. We can get a garden here." And I'm going to say, "Okay, you going to help? Sure. Let's do it." Because it makes me look good as a principal, and it also brings in food innovation into our school, and again, helps our children learn about where their food comes from. And so people are doing really great things like the learning gardens and food science labs, and you can put your skills to use to help children as well. So again, grants, all of these great things to help nutrition in schools. And so I'll leave you with this. Do not judge what the children eat every day. And even though they joke on each other about it, they're eating it too. And oftentimes, that's the only meal that they'll have all day, okay? So we're counting on you to make sure that you get out there, do what you can to make sure that we bring healthy foods into our schools. Thank you.